Every human being carries within them an undiscovered continent, a world of symbols, dreams, and forgotten truths. But within this vast ocean of souls, there are a few, so rare, that they seem to belong to another dimension of existence. Their minds pierce through illusions, their hearts wrestle with shadows, and their very presence disturbs the ordinary order of things. These individuals are not simply different, they are marked by the archetypes of rarity itself. Have you ever felt as though you were living a double life? One in the outer world of society, and another in a hidden inner realm only you can see? If so, you may carry the signs of an extremely rare personality. Tonight, through the lens of Carl Jung's psychology, we will uncover 8 mysterious traits that reveal whether your soul belongs to the few who walk this rare and extraordinary path. Have you ever sensed that you are not quite like the people around you? That while others rush to chase the same ambitions, repeat the same conversations, and fit into the same structures, you feel as if you are pulled by a deeper current, one that runs beneath the surface of life. This is not merely a quirk or a preference. It is something Jung understood as the calling of the unconscious, the whisper of archetypes, the push of individuation, the slow unfolding of the rare personality. Carl Jung believed that most human beings move within the safe boundaries of the collective. They are guided, almost unconsciously, by the habits and traditions of their culture. They live according to scripts already written, playing roles that others have played countless times before. But there are some who cannot remain confined to this stage. For them, life feels heavier, more charged, filled with symbols that others overlook. They are haunted not only by their dreams at night, but by visions that follow them into the waking world. These rare personalities are shaped not merely by their upbringing or by circumstance, but by the archetypal forces that press upon them from the depths of the unconscious. Archetypes, those primordial images of the Great Mother, the hero, the trickster, the sage, move within them more vividly than in others. Where one person might ignore the significance of a recurring dream, the rare individual feels it as a message from the soul itself. Where others overlook their inner conflicts, the rare personality feels each contradiction as a tension between gods battling inside their psyche. To carry such intensity is not easy. It often begins as a burden, a sense of alienation, even confusion. The rare personality does not easily belong. Friends may describe them as different, intense, or even difficult to understand. Yet beneath these labels lies the truth that they are in the process of individuation, becoming who they truly are, rather than what the collective demands. Individuation is not about rejecting society entirely, nor is it about blind obedience to it. It is the lifelong work of reconciling the conscious self with the unconscious, of uniting light with shadow, of allowing the full self to emerge. Shadow integration is a key aspect of this journey. While most people push away the darker aspects of their nature, the anger, the envy, the forbidden desires, the rare personality cannot escape them. The shadow follows them like a ghost, appearing in their dreams, in sudden outbursts, in moments of shame. To deny it would be to fracture themselves, and so, painfully and courageously, they begin to turn toward it, to look into the darkness, not with the intention of being consumed, but of understanding. By integrating the shadow, they grow whole. They discover that within their anger lies passion. Within their envy lies a map of their deepest desires. Within their fear lies the strength they have not yet claimed. Such a person begins to live differently. Their relationships are marked by intensity, for they demand honesty and depth, and they cannot bear superficial bonds. Their work, whatever form it takes, carries the signature of originality, because it flows not from imitation, but from direct contact with the unconscious. Their solitude is heavy, yet within it they find guidance from images, symbols, and inner voices that others might dismiss as mere imagination. Jung would say these inner figures are archetypal presences, fragments of the collective unconscious, speaking directly to them. But this path is not without danger. To be in constant dialogue with the unconscious is to risk being overwhelmed by it. Jung warned of the inflation that can occur when a person mistakes archetypal power for personal greatness, when they believe they are a prophet or chosen above all others. The rare personality must walk carefully, grounding themselves in reality even as they traverse the dream world of the psyche. They must learn to carry both worlds, the mundane and the mythic, without losing balance. And yet, for all its dangers, this path is profoundly meaningful. While others may live comfortably within convention, the rare personality lives in a state of becoming. Their life is a continual unfolding of symbols, conflicts, reconciliations, and transformations. They embody the hero's journey, not as a story they read in myths, but as a reality inscribed in their own existence. The descent into the unconscious, the battle with the shadow, the meeting with archetypal figures, and the eventual emergence of a more complete self. This is the rhythm of their life. Jung understood that such individuals are vital to humanity. They may feel like outsiders, but their very strangeness is a gift. They hold a mirror to society, showing what it represses, what it avoids, what it denies. They are often the artists, the visionaries, the thinkers who bring forth new truths, not from intellect alone, but from a deeper well. By embodying their individuation, they light a path that others may unconsciously follow. The existence of such rare personalities is a reminder that the psyche is not uniform. Not all souls are meant to walk the same road. Some are chosen, by temperament or fate, to dive into depths that others fear to touch. They are called to wrestle with archetypes, to confront their shadows, to endure solitude, and to live with questions that have no easy answers. Their journey is both isolating and sacred, both painful and luminous. And while they may never fully belong to the collective, they belong to something greater, the eternal unfolding of the self. There are people who move through life content with the simple flow of routine. They chase comfort, success, or recognition, and once achieved, they settle into the rhythm society rewards. But if you carry a rare personality, this surface level existence cannot satisfy you. Something inside gnaws at you, an endless hunger that ordinary pleasures cannot quiet. This is not restlessness for its own sake. It is the unquenchable thirst for meaning, a drive that pushes you beyond the shallow waters of daily life into the vast, sometimes stormy ocean of deeper truth. Carl Jung observed that the human psyche cannot thrive on material success or external validation alone. For those with a rare personality, the soul demands more. You sense that life is layered with hidden significance, that every choice, every dream, every encounter holds a deeper message. While others may look at an event and see only coincidence, you feel there is a pattern, an archetypal story unfolding in the background. You hunger not just to live, but to understand why you live, and this thirst becomes the axis upon which your entire life turns. It begins in small ways. You find yourself questioning what others accept without thought. Why do people follow traditions blindly? Why do they chase wealth and status yet remain empty? Why do they ignore the inner voices that call from their depths? These questions are not mere curiosities to you. They are burning torches, illuminating the hidden corners of existence. You cannot simply turn them off. They follow you into conversations, into quiet hours of solitude, into the silence before sleep. And the more you ask, the more you realize the world is drenched in meaning. Though most walk through it blind, this thirst is both gift and burden. It draws you into philosophy, psychology, art, and spirituality, fields where humanity has always searched for truth. But it also separates you from those who are content with the surface. You may find yourself frustrated, longing for someone who understands why you cannot stay satisfied with shallow answers. The search for meaning makes ordinary small talk feel hollow. You crave dialogue that touches the essence of life, conversations that reveal the soul beneath appearances. Jung would say that this hunger for meaning is a sign of individuation at work. Individuation is not about becoming perfect, it is about becoming whole. And to become whole, one must integrate what is unconscious, confront what is shadowed, and listen to what is symbolic. Your thirst drives you toward this process, even if you do not name it. It compels you to wrestle with questions of purpose, of destiny, of the archetypes that guide human life. While others chase certainty, you accept the mystery, because within mystery lies the very essence of meaning. Dreams play a crucial role in this search. For most people, dreams are quickly forgotten fragments. But for those with rare personalities, dreams shimmer with importance. A dream of falling may reveal not fear, but surrender. A dream of a stranger may signal the arrival of an unknown part of yourself. You learn to treat dreams as messages from the unconscious, symbolic keys that open doors to deeper understanding. This is not a game for you. It is the lifeblood of your inner journey. The thirst for meaning also manifests in how you approach success and failure. To the rare personality, a promotion, an award, or even recognition feels hollow if it does not serve the soul's deeper growth. Likewise, failure does not destroy you, because you instinctively search for its lesson, its hidden wisdom. You measure experiences not by how they look on the surface, but by what they awaken inside you. Every setback becomes symbolic, every triumph becomes an initiation. This orientation toward meaning transforms life from a random sequence of events into a mythic story unfolding step by step. But such hunger is not without pain. There are days when the search feels exhausting, when the thirst seems impossible to quench. The weight of questions can isolate you. The intensity of longing can feel unbearable. You may even envy those who are content with simpler lives. And yet, even in these moments, you cannot abandon your search. To silence it would be to betray your very nature. Your psyche demands meaning the way the body demands air. It is not optional. It is essential. This inner drive can make you appear restless to others, always reaching, always questioning, never content. But you know that your restlessness is not aimless. It is guided by an invisible compass, pulling you toward truths that others may never see. Sometimes you stumble upon them in books or teachings. Other times they emerge unexpectedly, a sudden realization during solitude, a symbol appearing in a dream, an archetype revealing itself in art. Each discovery does not quench the thirst entirely, but it deepens it, sharpens it, and carries you further along your path. Jung would remind you that this thirst is part of the individuation process, the very core of becoming fully human. Without it, the psyche stagnates. With it, you grow, evolve, and transform. You may never reach a final answer, but the journey itself becomes sacred. The thirst for meaning does not end in resolution. It lives in the very act of seeking. And for those with rare personalities, that seeking is not simply a choice, it is destiny. There comes a moment in the life of the rare personality when they begin to feel the weight of the collective pressing against them. The collective is powerful, vast, and deeply rooted in traditions, beliefs, and unspoken rules. It shapes how people dress, how they speak, what they value, and even what they dare to dream. Most individuals move within its boundaries without resistance, finding comfort in belonging. But for the rare personality, there is always an uneasy tension, as if the collective and the individual soul are pulling in opposite directions. Carl Jung recognized this conflict as one of the central struggles of the individuating person. To individuate, to become who you truly are, means stepping beyond the roles and expectations the collective assigns to you. And yet, to leave the collective completely is to risk exile, loneliness, and misunderstanding. So the rare personality lives within a paradox, yearning for connection but resisting conformity. They are part of the group, yet somehow apart from it, always carrying the sense of being different, of not fully belonging. This tension shows itself in subtle ways. In conversations where everyone agrees easily, you may find yourself silent, unable to participate in words that feel shallow or false. At gatherings where people seek to entertain themselves with trivialities, you feel an invisible wall, as though your presence belongs to another world entirely. In the eyes of others, you may appear withdrawn, distant, or overly serious, but inside, you know it is not distance. It is truth. You cannot force yourself into a mask that does not fit. The collective rewards sameness. It grants approval to those who follow its customs, who mirror its values, who do not disturb the fragile order it maintains. The rare personality disturbs this order, not always by choice, but simply by being who they are. Their questions unsettle others. Their intensity exposes what others prefer to ignore. Their authenticity challenges the masks people cling to, and so they often feel the subtle, or sometimes open, resistance of the group. They may be criticized, misunderstood, or quietly excluded. This exclusion does not happen because they are wrong, but because they mirror back to the group its hidden contradictions. To live with this tension requires strength. Many rare personalities, especially in their early years, try desperately to conform. They suppress their voice, dull their questions, hide their visions. For a time, they may succeed. They may appear ordinary, indistinguishable from those around them. But deep within, the tension grows. Their dreams become more vivid, their dissatisfaction sharper, until finally, the soul refuses to be silenced. They realize that conformity may bring belonging, but it will also bring death of the inner life. And so they make the choice, quietly but firmly, to stand apart. Yet standing apart does not mean rejecting the collective entirely. Jung warned against both extremes. To lose oneself in the collective is to dissolve individuality, but to reject it entirely is to become lost in isolation. The rare personality must learn to walk between the two, rooted enough in society to function, but free enough to follow their own path. This balancing act is the essence of their tension. They cannot ignore the collective, but they also cannot surrender to it. Their life becomes a continual negotiation between inner truth and outer expectation. This inner conflict often creates an outer restlessness. Careers that demand blind obedience feel suffocating. Relationships built on shallow roles feel empty. Even cultural rituals, which others embrace as sources of pride, may feel meaningless if they do not resonate with the soul. And yet, the rare personality cannot simply escape into solitude forever. They are human, and the need for belonging remains. Thus, they walk a razor's edge, craving connection, yet refusing to betray authenticity for the sake of acceptance. The tension with the collective also manifests in how others perceive them. Some may admire their independence, sensing the courage it takes to stand apart. Others may envy their authenticity, secretly wishing they too could break free. But many respond with discomfort, even hostility. For when the rare personality speaks from their inner truth, they reveal the cracks in the collective surface. And most people would rather not see those cracks. They prefer the comfort of illusion, so they label the rare person as strange, arrogant, or too intense. These labels act as shields, protecting them from the uncomfortable truth the rare personality embodies. And yet, even within this struggle, there is a quiet beauty. The rare individual becomes a bridge between the collective and the unconscious. They carry truths that the group represses, bringing them into awareness through their words, their art, their very way of being. They are like the dreamer of the tribe, whose visions seem unsettling at first, but eventually reveal guidance for all. The collective resists them, but also needs them. For without the rare personality, it would stagnate in sameness, never evolving beyond its current limits. This is why Jung insisted that individuation is not selfish. It is not about separating from the group out of pride. It is about becoming whole, and in becoming whole, offering something authentic back to the collective. But the offering is rarely welcomed immediately. It often comes after rejection, struggle, even ridicule. The rare personality must endure this tension, must hold the line between authenticity and connection, until their presence carves space for new truths within the group. Living with this paradox is not easy. It requires resilience, patience, and an unwavering commitment to the inner voice. It means accepting solitude without bitterness, embracing difference without arrogance, and carrying the burden of authenticity even when it isolates. The tension never fully disappears, it becomes a companion on the path. For to be rare is to live both within and beyond the collective, never fully at home in either, but forever moving between the two like a traveler who belongs to both worlds and yet to neither. There are moments when you sense something before it happens, when you understand the true nature of a person without them speaking, when you feel the hidden meaning behind an event long before others even notice. This is not imagination running wild, nor is it mere guesswork. It is the movement of deep intuition, a faculty that arises from the unconscious and gives the rare personality an almost visionary quality. Carl Jung described intuition as one of the fundamental ways of perceiving reality, and for some, it becomes so refined that it feels as though they are seeing with more than their eyes, hearing with more than their ears, knowing with more than their minds. For the rare personality, intuition is not occasional, it is constant, like an undercurrent flowing beneath every interaction and every decision. Where others rely only on facts, evidence, and appearances, you find yourself guided by subtle impressions, quiet hunches, symbolic patterns that rise up unbidden. You might walk into a room and immediately sense the atmosphere, the unspoken tensions, the hidden motives. You might hear a person's words, but more strongly you hear the energy behind them, the emotion they cannot hide. These impressions do not arrive logically. They arrive fully formed, as if handed to you by some unseen presence. Jung would say that intuition arises from the unconscious, the vast reservoir of images, archetypes, and experiences that lies beneath awareness. The rare personality has a more open channel to this reservoir. While most people's perception is dominated by what is obvious, the intuitive person perceives the invisible, the archetypal currents shaping events, the symbolic meaning of what is unfolding. This is why your intuition sometimes feels prophetic, even uncanny. You are not predicting the future in a mystical sense. You are perceiving the deeper forces that make the future likely. You see the seeds of what will grow before others notice they have been planted. This ability can feel like a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it gives you clarity in situations that confuse others. You can read between the lines, discern hidden truths, and sense danger before it arrives. On the other hand, it can overwhelm you. Intuition brings impressions that are not always welcome. You may sense dishonesty where others see only charm, or feel the weight of a coming conflict, while everyone else is celebrating. This knowledge can isolate you, for to voice it risks being dismissed, and to remain silent means carrying the burden alone. The visionary nature of intuition also influences how you experience time. For many, time is linear, each moment separate from the next, but to the deeply intuitive, time feels layered. The present moment shimmers with echoes of the past and seeds of the future. A simple event might feel symbolic, connected to something much larger, as though you are witnessing not just a moment, but a myth unfolding through human lives. This mythic sense of time gives your life a depth that others may never touch, but it also creates difficulty when you try to explain it. Language strains under the weight of what intuition reveals. Dreams often become extensions of this intuitive vision. In dreams, you may encounter symbols that later reveal themselves in waking life. You may see images of transformation, death, or renewal that mirror changes happening within you or in the world around you. Jung believed dreams are the direct speech of the unconscious, and for the intuitive, they are not abstract puzzles but living guides. You awaken with the sense that you have been shown something important, something that must be carried into consciousness, even if others laugh it away as fantasy. Relationships for the intuitive are equally affected. You cannot interact with someone without sensing what lies beneath the mask. You feel their unspoken desires, their hidden fears, their unresolved wounds. This makes connection profound, but also complicated. At times, others may feel exposed in your presence, as though you see too much. Some are drawn to your clarity, craving the way you name what they cannot, while others retreat, uneasy at being seen so deeply. For you, relationships can never remain on the surface. They either move into honesty and depth, or they collapse under the weight of what remains unspoken. This intuitive vision also fuels creativity. When you write, paint, speak, or dream up ideas, you are not simply creating from logic. You are channeling impressions from the unconscious, translating archetypal images into forms that others can recognize. The poet who captures truths that resonate across cultures, the artist who paints images that stir forgotten emotions, the thinker who names a pattern in society before it becomes visible. All are guided by intuition. For the rare personality, creativity becomes the bridge through which inner vision flows into the outer world. But deep intuition demands responsibility. Without grounding, it can slip into paranoia or delusion. Jung warned of the danger of mistaking the voice of intuition for unquestionable truth, for even the unconscious speaks in riddles and symbols that require interpretation. The rare individual must learn to test their intuition against reality, to balance vision with discernment, to honor the gift without being consumed by it. This is the lifelong task, to walk the line between visionary insight and grounded wisdom, and still, the experience of intuition remains unlike anything else. It gives you the feeling of being guided by something larger than yourself, as though the unconscious itself is whispering directions. It reveals that life is not merely random, but woven with hidden threads, symbolic echoes, and archetypal patterns. To carry such vision is both isolating and sacred, both disorienting and illuminating. It makes you different from those around you. Yet it also connects you to the deepest currents of the collective unconscious, as though you are listening to the voice of humanity, itself speaking through the symbols of your own mind. To possess a rare personality is to live on the threshold between worlds, the conscious and the unconscious, the individual and the collective, the ordinary and the extraordinary. It is to feel the weight of solitude and the pull of meaning, to walk a path that few can see and even fewer can follow. Carl Jung called this the journey of individuation, a lifelong process of becoming whole, of integrating shadow and light, of listening to the subtle whispers of the soul. You may not always be understood. You may feel the tension of the collective pressing against you, the weight of your own visions, and the relentless questioning that drives you forward. Yet in this struggle lies the essence of your uniqueness. The rare personality is not defined by accomplishments, popularity, or recognition. It is defined by depth, by the courage to explore the hidden corners of the psyche, and by the willingness to live authentically, even when it feels isolating. These 8 signs are not mere traits, they are invitations, calls from your own unconscious to embrace the rare, luminous, and sometimes difficult nature of your being. To walk this path is to engage with life as a mystery, to witness the unfolding of archetypes in your own story, and to touch the eternal within the fleeting. In the end, the question is not whether you fit into the world, but whether you are willing to answer the call of your own soul, to honor the depth within, and to live in the tension between shadow and light, vision and reality, solitude and connection. For those who dare, the journey is profound, transformative, and eternally alive, a testament to the extraordinary nature of a mind and heart that refuse to be ordinary.